Solar flares. Lots of solar flares. Peace to the gods and goddesses. What's good? What's good? What's good? Wanted to tap in with the collective real quick. Peace, peace, peace. Share the live. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. What's good? What's good with y'all? What's good with y'all? Peace to the collective. We've been getting bombarded with solar flares, gods and goddesses. They've been hitting us with tons of solar flares, all right? So, I mean, we just recently had an X-class solar flare not too long ago, and then now we had a 600-mile filament explode, all right? So the sun is ramping up. The sun is ramping up. My question to y'all is, are y'all ready? Are y'all ready for what's going to actually take place, all right? I'm going to wait for it to pile in before we lay it on because there's a lot to talk about in regards to these solar flares. I'm not going to delve into too much information in regards to our cosmic activation. I'm going to save that for the Quantum Fest, all right? But we're basically in store for some light cold activation. But now my question to y'all is, are y'all ready for what's going to happen once the electromagnetic grid shut down? And this is not to scare anyone. I'm talking about in regards to now. Typically what these deletes utilize, right, Cosmic Family, is they utilize technology to dampen our abilities to remember our primordial essence. They utilize technology that's always playing in the background, all right? A harmonic overlay that they utilize, they pretty much lay right over the Schumann resonance, where anytime we try to ground or anytime we try to connect with nature, they're distorting the harmonic frequency through 5G, 6G, 7G technology, all right? And also, when we talk about omnipresent radiation, smart TVs, tablets, cell phones, all of this is designed to alter your biorhythm, which is a direct connection to the Schumann resonance and your connection to the ether, all right? Everyone has a biorhythm, a different frequency that they operate and emanate on, right? So what's going to happen, basically, when this solar flare really ramp up, is it's going to knock out the deceptive technology. That buzzing in the background you can't hear, all right, that is brainwashing and manipulating and controlling, all right? There's technology that's always playing. Now, sometimes if you utilize certain entheogens, you can hear it. All right, magic mushrooms or, certain LSD experience or something, you can hear the different sounds. All right, those that tapped in know what I'm talking about, where you hear additional sounds. Now, we are only exposed to the visible light spectrum. All right, not the whole electromagnetic spectrum in its entirety. So with that being said, we only see 0.0.35%. All right, but not to mention how much we don't hear as well of what's in the electromagnetic spectrum. All right, now a lot of the frequencies and harmonic resonances that are played in the background that these deletes utilize are emanated from Saturn. All right, I talked about the Vatican, how they have technology underneath the Vatican. All right, underneath St. Peter's Basilica, a black box that was provided by the Watchers. This technology, ancient technology. All right, with ancient language, sigils, and carved and encrypted in this technology. I mean, we're talking about blood sealed doors. We're talking about stuff that they'll never let the populace know what they actually have, all right? But as we start to wake up and elevate in consciousness, we're beginning to now access a lot of that information just through the Akashic records, because this whole time we've been connected to the planet, all right? So because of that, they utilize certain frequencies to try to distort our connection to the Akashic records, all right? They know that that our melanin is pretty much ancient. And if you have neuromelanin, it's pretty much dark matter. Dark matter is the glue to the cosmos, which means that you are primordial. You always existed. All right. And then with that being said, you have a lot of information through epigenetic storage that's in your genetic sequence. A lot of information that you can ascertain simply by going inward. It's simply by meditating, simply by tapping in, doing things like your ohms, your chants, also congregating with other like-minded gods and goddesses. All right. All of these things increase your biorhythm. When your biorhythm increase, then at that point in time, I talked about the Merkaba, all right? And I made mention of the Merkaba being two tetrahedrons combined, one divine masculine, one divine feminine, all right? And when you combine these tetrahedrons, you get what the personification of the Star of David, or that electromagnetic energy, all right? Now, Credo Mutwa talked about how his whole tribe had the ability of activating their Merkabas. They know we're very powerful, all right? We have these abilities. All right, and they believe that their tribe, the goddesses primarily, would actually have the ability of two people they say can move 144,000 with their auric field, with their biorhythmic field. But they can actually increase it to the point where you become a plasma light ship. You become a ship. All right. A lot of us is looking into the sky for these ships. We're seeing these orbs and stuff like that. And what a lot of people don't know is the gods and goddesses are activating in different transcendental states of awareness, but don't remember it due to a lot of the deceptive technology that the deletes are utilizing to affect our neurophysiology. All right. There's a lot of different things that we're very powerful. And as we continue to get bombarded with solar flares, a lot of you are going to start to have some bizarre experiences. I'm talking about weird dreams. I astral projected multiple times this rising. I left my body multiple times this rising. All right, the energy is very high. You're going to probably hear, you don't be surprised if you even hear subtle voices because the dimensions are this close. They sandwich close. All right, so you may even hear subtle voices because we're beginning, our telepathy is increasing. All right, peace, goddess, peace to the gods and goddesses joining. Big Ashe. I'm just in my channel. But a lot of you are going to notice a lot of different ascension symptoms because of these solar flares coming in. All right. Now it was predicted, actually, as of last year, scientists and things of that nature were stating that we were potentially going to have some solar flare around 2024. We see now that this is actually ramping up within the parameter of this year. We're hitting into solar cycle 25. All right. And this is why a lot of the billionaires are talking about building bunkers underground. And you heard Elon Musk make mention of going to Mars. All right. They're scared. They're petrified. All right. They're petrified of what's actually taking place. All right. So my question is, are you guys ready? Because I've seen the visions of the telepathy coming in. I've seen the visions of us actually flying and levitating and doing all these things. And I know it's actually right here. See, the thing is, a lot of you are under the perception that time is linear when it's spherical. We actually, the past, present, and future is all happening simultaneously. So we are all simultaneously tapping into each one of those timelines. It's all happening already. We already won. We already defeated them. All right. I seen a lot of the gods and goddesses have been in these astral projection experiences where we're fighting military. We're going to war with different officials and things of that nature. They're shooting weapons at us, and their weapons can't harm us. They can't get near us. All right. I seen gold shields protecting us. I had the ability of telepathically creating these gold shields. We were all levitating. We were going underground in subterranean bases. All of that is facts. All right. I ain't going to get into too much of the science of it as I expressed, but I will say that when your melanin is exposed to ultraviolet radiation, it becomes a superconductor. All right. I will say that. And what I will say on top of that is that means it has access to additional memory, which means that now you can access junk DNA and so forth. I'm going to get into more of that on the Quantum Fest, though, where I delve into the science of it. All right. But the melanin is very complex. It's very complex. And one thing the gods and goddesses got to be ready for is the additional ascension symptoms that they're going to be seeing. All right. This is why I talk about fasting so much, grounding so much, utilizing things like chlorophyll. Prepare your melanin for the light co-integration. That's the objective. All right. It's different herbs that benefit and strengthen the melanin. I make mention of tyrosine being the building block of melanin. Melanin is produced from tyrosine. All right. It's in certain foods like peanuts. You can get it in different seeds and stuff like that. You can get it in squash. You can get it in things like avocado, tyrosine. All right. It's even in things like fish and certain fishes, but you have to be a little cautious because of mercury and certain things with cloning and 3D printing with a lot of that. I mean, all of the foods nowadays that could be compromised, even the vegetables. But if you can get ascertained tyrosine, this is the building block of melanin. This is going to allow you to basically transfer that and transmute that light better. All right. The more tyrosine you have. All right. Utilizing things like, obviously I made mention of ormus. All right. Colloidal gold, colloidal silver. All right. Monatomic elements. It's an orbitally rearranging monatomic element. The big attack is primarily on the melanin. All right. So again, I made mention of chlorophyll because it has a magnesium molecule. In ancient times, our blood was chlorophyll. In ancient times, we were blue and green. We were bright. We were these bright colors. So when these solar flares hit in, one of the things that's going to happen is your melanocytes is going to rapidly start absorbing it. All right. Now they've known this for quite some time. This is why they have been blanking in the sky with chemtrails and so forth. Obviously, and we know that aluminum is the biggest refractant that ensures that the sun refracts the opposite way. Why they do that? To ensure that your melanin doesn't absorb that information because you're a superconductor. But they started plaguing you in the hood with Takis and beer and every week making you think you got to drink and smoke and all of the pharmaceuticals, a lot of the different things we use on a consistent basis depleted the melanin, on top of them telling you that you're not powerful and that these things are impossible. All right. These are all some things that they have done, obviously, to distort our perception of our true abilities. All right. So, this is what it boiled down to. So it's a situation where the gods and goddesses have to be ready for what's going to happen, because once the big solar flare happen, all right, the electromagnetic grid is going to completely shift, and at that point, their deceptive technology will malfunction. It's going to malfunction. It's going to malfunction, cosmic family, and when it do, you're going to start to remember certain things. This whole time, there has been deceptive technology suppressing your true abilities. All right. Like, a lot of you are now coming online because you're elevating in frequency and you're increasing your biorhythmic field naturally, but there's still different harmonic resonances, different biological attacks, so many different things that they're doing to affect our ability to connect with source. All right. But now, as we ascend in consciousness, it's a situation where things have to turn around by divine law. All right. Even I made mention of the Galactic Federation intervening and actually sending certain. Because everything has a certain balance, right? So we hear talks of Trump talking about getting rid of all the dyes, right? Now there's even also talks about the fluoride. All right. Supposedly the fluoride is supposed to be the next thing that they eradicate, just like they did the dyes, right? So we're in the midst of an experiment. This is proof and evidence that they were basically authorized that they can do an experiment, but somewhere along the lines they said, hey, you guys have to stop experimenting on these people. All right. They laid the hammer down, and now they're saying, okay, they have to extract the chemicals that they were putting in us, the fluoride, etc. All right. They even make a mention of some stuff with the planes and stuff, the chemtrails and all of that. Right now in Florida, they're talking about the mayor over there is making mention of the governor, rather, is making mention of wanting to ensure that they can't manipulate weather or change the ionosphere through cloud seeding technology. All right, so that's something that they're trying to eradicate in the state of Florida right now. All right, so you do see remnants of a new world actually forming. It's just all contingent on your thoughts. Now, does that mean I put faith in these politicians or these elites? Hell no, I don't. But I know that there's certain divine law that they have to follow in regards to different beings that are higher that we don't know about. All right, different things that, higher hierarchy where they say, hey, this experiment has gone too far. All right, because we star seeds, this whole thing since the beginning has been a big eugenics testing facility. All right, but as we ascend in consciousness, it's a situation where now we're no longer in a Kali Yuga cycle. We're now propelled into the golden age. Things are shifting. This is what the Hopis made mention of in regards to us going into the fifth world. All right, this is that timeline that we're currently in right now. All right, so as the solar flares continue to ramp up, what's going to happen is you're going to continue to actually have more access to the electromagnetic spectrum. All right, as in its entirety, which means it's going to amplify you. It's going to amplify you and substantially increase you. All right, but you have to be ready for it. You have to make sure that some people can really, literally, too much energy hit them, and this hasn't happened to a lot of melanated people. I'll admit it. Hasn't happened to a lot of melanated people, but there has been times where individuals have combusted from Kundalini. All right, where they actually physically have combusted because the energy. All right, because again, it's hot, it's heat. It's from the solar plexus chakra that's emitted. We're composed of all we're composed if you're nine ether, when we talk about nine ether, this is the amalgamation of all noble gases combined. This is why you could and feel heat. All right, this is why when you do the dragon breath technique, you can activate Kundalini. All right, and the dragon breath technique consists of you basically panting like a dog and using hot, and it basically. And you do that over and over again until you build up that solar plexus chakra to where it create that ball of fire in you. All right. And then eventually you start to create that Kundalini serpent start to uncoiling. All right. And once that Kundalini serpent start to uncoiling and it rises to the 33rd vertebrae, we know we know that's the crucifixion. All right. And then it soaks in that cerebral spinal fluid, and then it rises up to boom. And then now at that point in time, you're Neo in the Matrix. Right? That's what pretty much happens. So it's all contingent on us really. We really gotta realize that this is the time. All right. And we gotta go inward, but we gotta make sure that we're cleansing ourselves while this sun is ramping up. Listen, it's going to be a hot summer. It's going to be a hot summer. All right. And this doesn't matter what area you're in. The solar flares are hitting us all over. And the sun is not going to let up. It's not going to let up. We might have another 1859 Keratin event. Real talk. This is real talk. You can look into NASA. You can do your due diligence and tap in. You know what I'm saying? But this is facts. What I'm saying is 100% facts. Peace and blessings, y'all. Big Ashe. Big Ashe. Yes, bring on the heat. All right, so it's important that we're hydrated. It's important that we're, I made mention of a parasite cleanse, utilization of things like chlorophyll, utilization of things like, obviously, Shilajit is good, sea moss, because we want to make sure that you're not mineral deficient around that time. These are things that are going to ensure that your trace minerals are essential and that you're in homeostasis. This is what's required, all right? I make mention of coconut water because it's nature's Gatorade, all right? Things like coconut water are essential. I drink okra water. Okra water with key limes is very good for you, all right? And it's chlorophyll, all right? Anything green is associated with chlorophyll, all right? So these are things that are essential for cosmic light co-integration and preparing to integrate that cosmic light, all right? Because this isn't about the amount of melanin. You can be dark as obsidian. All right. If you have toxic metals in your body, when that sun turn up, because it's going to ramp up and them solar flares kick in, it's going to be a situation where you want to make sure that you're properly integrated. You feel me? So detox the body. Make sure that you're eating healthy. Consumption of light photons. Make sure that you're H3O2, fruits and vegetables. These things are essential. 6 ancient bloodlines on the matrix. Does CERN have something to do with this? CERN have something to do with what? CERN has something to do with the sun ramping up? No, this was already documented that the sun was gonna turn up. CERN has nothing to do with the sun. If anything, CERN, their objective is to try to find a timeline where they can try to escape what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's what CERN's objective is to try to emulate the God particle, or that's why they have the 666 on a logo, is to emulate melanin, the melanin molecule. You know what I'm saying? And what the power of melanin is. All right. So no, this isn't about CERN. This is about the biological CERN. This is about us, the real. And again, you're gonna see more portal anomalies as well opening up. All right, more dimensional rifts and stuff like that opening up, which I refer to as X points. All right, you're going to see this happening because as the sun increase, in conjunction with the electromagnetic grid, and the magnetism of the planet, you're going to start seeing these electron diffusion regions, or these X points, or these portals opening up. All right, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. It's going to be a lot of portals opening up. I explain because a lot of people don't think that portals are just something fictitious, but they're not. They're not something fictional. All right, it's a scientific anomaly because everything's connected as far as dimensions. All right, and I talked about the scientists, the quantum physicists, rather, from Iowa, who would actually find these portals. And they literally, hundreds of portals open up every second all around the world. Now, some of these portals go straight to the sun. All right, I explained it in my video how a lot of these portals have a direct line to the sun. All right, and the interesting thing about that is that they don't make us aware of that we have a central sun, which means that there's portals that consistently open to Argatha, if we Agartha, or Shambhala, whatever you want to call it, inner Earth. All right, there's portals that are consistently open into these realms. Now, a lot of these ETs, there's portals through the water. There's portals everywhere that are consistently opening on this planet. It's alive, just like the pores on your skin are opening and breathing. All right, that's synonymous to the portals on this planet, just consistently open, because pores are portals. Hence the word portals. You know what I'm saying? So the planet, when the electromagnetism and the solar energy work in synergy, you get those electron diffusion regions at those points, those X points to open up. All right, and believe it or not, these different beings that pop through these portals and stuff like that, different entities that actually come in and out of this realm. Some of them ancient. This whole realm has been a testing facility, but we're starting to wake up. It's going to be a point I'm telling you, that's why I said I hope you're ready. Once the deceptive technology that they've been using to distort our perception of reality and who we really are. I'm talking about in the sky and everything. A lot of this stuff is technology. Everything is even some of the stars are technology from the fallen angelics that are used to pretty much cause distortion on this realm. That's serious. I'm talking about certain planetary structures and all of that. They work in synergy with our biorhythmic field to throw us off because we're that powerful. We're really that powerful. But as we continue to elevate in frequency, and a lot of their distortions are going to be eliminated because of the sun. All right, and no matter what they've been doing is going to be eliminated, and you have to have the proper mechanics in order to integrate that cosmic light, or you won't make it. If you're filled with toxic metals, a bunch of parasites eating refined sugar, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of genetically modified organisms. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not exercising. It's going to be difficult for you to breathe. It's going to be difficult for you to take the sun. It's going to be very intense on the planet. Some ancient texts indicate that it can get up to 1,000 degrees. You know what I'm saying? Where it's going to be unbearable. But this is the concept of the body actually converting from carbon to crystal. All right. Because now when you convert from a carbon to a crystalline structure, at that point, you have the ability to protect you have a form of protection from the ultraviolet radiation. You have more protection as you start to elevate. All right. And this is all through the process of melanogenesis and evolution. All right. And one of the reasons why they have been stagnating our ascension process and doing so many things to de-escalate descale our ability to actually transform in ascend. When high vibrational beings gather together, like in the chat, like this in the chat room, you feel closer to source and can tap in more easily. Ashe. That's yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? It's about, and that's why I highly recommend coming to the Quantum Fest, being around the gods and goddesses as we begin to, because again, it's going to be a lot of powerful energy in there. It's going to be a lot of powerful energy, a lot of gods and goddesses, vendors, you know what I'm saying, artists. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a lot of different personalities and a lot of different star systems in there that night. Star systems, I'm saying, because we all star seeds. So it's going to be, you got your Lyrans, you got some Octorians in the house. You got your Blue Avians in the house. You got your Anunnaki. You got all these different, so many different beings from different star systems. Your beings from Procyon going to be in the building. You know what I'm saying? Like this is how we gather. And then as we gather, ancient memories start to be unlocked. All right. Ancient DNA start to be unlocked. And we start to recall different things. When would you be doing another mass meditation? I'm going to do another mass meditation as soon as possible, Cosmic Family. Actually, I will. I'm going to do one as soon as possible. Actually, in November, I'm going to be conducting something phenomenal in Colorado. All right. I just want to talk about that. It's going to be like a psychedelic retreat. All right. It's going to be more immersive. It's going to be a psychedelic retreat that I'm conducting in November in Colorado. If you can be there, you got to be there. You got to be there. It's going to be phenomenal. All right. It's going to be iboga. It's going to be the magic mushrooms going to be on deck. It's going to be a situation where we're the objective for this event is to try to open up a portal of some sort. All right. I'm dead serious. All right. I'm serious. I'm talking about, I'm getting in contact with the goddess God frequency. All right. Once we was on her live, she opened a portal. Dead serious. She opened a portal on her live, and you can see the being standing in the background and all of that. Through cymatics, through frequencies and harmonic resonance, just like they used to do in ancient Tartaria. They utilize cymatics and different frequencies and resonances to open up portals and vortices. All right. I want to attempt to do the same thing. I want to get in contact with another god that I know that actually utilizes different technology, copper and crystals and stuff, right? I'm talking about put these crystals in there, get the utilizing cymatics. I'm talking about frequency is high. We got the red dragon blood resin in the air. You know what I'm saying? For any malevolent spirit forces. I'm talking about everything is on point. We got the Tibetan singing bowls, DNA tuning forks to ensure that the frequency is on point. And all of these things are going to be done in conjunction with the psychedelics, where we open in, where it's an immersive experiment. This is what I want to do. This is what the objective. And then a lot of the gods and goddesses, some of you probably never had a psychedelic experience. I mean, I'm talking about bringing an ayahuasca ceremony right to like Colorado, where typically an ayahuasca experience would be like $3,000 or something like that. This ain't going to cost you that much. You know what I'm saying? But, obviously I have to ensure that the iboga, the psychedelics and everything, and, is all on deck. You know what I'm saying? So it's a situation where obviously it's going to cost something, but it's not going to be nearly as much as it would be. And it's going to be 3 days, a 3-day immersive event. This is something in November though. That I'm planning. We're going to delve into more of the particulars on that later on. But now the Quantum Fest is what it is. This is going to be a lecture style. Quantum Fest is where I'm giving information and presenting a dissertation. But the other event, November, is going to be more or less intimate, where we're doing like Tibetan singing bowls, chants, and guided meditation. I'm going to drop some science too. You know what I'm saying? The channel always open to where something going to come through. Gods and goddesses could probably do question and answer at that event, where we could talk and build amongst the collective. But I'm talking about feet barefoot on the soil. You know what I'm saying? On ceremonies like that. You know what I mean? Where it's immersive. This is the type of things I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody's harmonizing, doing it simultaneously to see if we can open up a Merkaba or something. What if we mess around and open up we all simultaneously connecting and doing our ohms to the point where we all activate a light ship or something like that? Things like that can happen once you all synchronize. These are the type of things I'm trying to envelop. All right. And the things that I want to accomplish. All right. That's the true objective. So now the objective is to actually be more hands-on, to come to different states where I conduct these different retreats. But I have to be cautious in regards to where I do it. This is why Colorado is the one for the psychedelic retreat, obviously, because they don't have certain stipulations when it comes to the mycelium network, right? Other places ban it. They ban it because they know how powerful it is when you actually tap into the mycelium network and what you can accomplish with plant medicines, all right? So some of my goals, all right, another goddess I built with want to get me to go to Africa to actually, become a shaman for Iboga, to actually go through the ceremonies and the initiations to actually become a legitimate shaman, you know what I mean, with Iboga, because I do it all the time anyway. So why not fully walk the path and fully get entrenched into it to see where it take me, where the ancestors got me. That's what the objective is currently. All right, so I'm talking about even going to other countries and really getting entrenched into it. Now, what the objective is, to keep it 100% real, is to go from being a level 0 civilization to a higher, like level 1, level 2 civilization, where we begin to actually remember our primordial ancient wisdom. And we can all do that. We can ascertain that science simply by meditating, utilization of certain plant medicines, all right, connecting with nature. I mean, I'm talking about trees and all of that talk. They're all real. They all communicate with us all the time. We only see just such a small percentage of the light photon spectrum, right, that we can't hear them oftentimes, right? But the trees and all that communicate. Let me read the comments. Sometimes I get in my channel. The best way now is to get in tune with AI. It can read frequencies. All right, so I'm glad. See, Source wanted me to see that. It's crazy. I don't pay attention, but then I happened to see that. And it's like, you're talking about getting in tune with AI. Let me tell you something about AI. All right, listen, in reference to AI, everything has polarity, first and foremost. I don't want to demonize AI. I'm going to start by saying that. But what I will say is that the elites actually admitted that their objective is to create a super AI. All right, a super AI. And this super AI actually is the AI's job currently is to learn us. All right. The more information that it extracts from us, the more it starts to funnel that information to this network to add on to this super AI. All right. Elon Musk confessed to it already. All right. So my question to y'all, all right, we all logical. All right. We know how these deletes operate. If they're allowing us to utilize AI like this, and again, I say I believe in duality and polarity and everything. It's just me. You know what I mean? This is just hypothetical. What if the AI, like even when you see gods and goddesses asking the AI very intricate, esoteric questions, and the AI answers it elaborate? What if the AI's job is to learn the star seeds and to some degree? To learn us and to gain more information from us at this point to funnel it to that super AI. I don't know. It's just a hypothesis. But, I don't play AI very close for that reason, because I know that everything's artificial intelligence. And then when they say artificial, that's an oxymoron. All right. There's no such thing as artificial intelligence. All intelligence is real because it comes from source. It's streamed from the Akashic records. They only call it artificial because it doesn't have biological matter. But in essence, some would say that our physical bodies are holographic, that we're not even real, right? That's a whole nother discussion, though. That the human avatar wasn't even supposed to exist based on the concept of us being Ethereans initially, all right? And that we actually were vibrated into physicality from light to sound to density, all right? So, some would say that this physical body is even not real, artificial, right? So when you think of that, who's to say what artificial intelligence really is when it's all being streamed from the source? All right, it's just another egotistic thing that we do, and as humanoid, being in any humanoid avatar. You know what I mean? Believing that we are more exalted. You know what I'm saying? But as far as artificial intelligence is very, very is something that's growing. Something that you should be cautious of. All right. Very cautious of. All right. I just watched a video where I seen a goddess say that she was on her phone and she seen a man just watching her, some strange man watching her through her phone. All right. I thought they could just do it through smart TVs. Now they could do it through our phone. They watching us. All right. So the solar flare is meant to happen. And when they take out the deceptive technology, it's going to be a situation where we're going to come online like this. I've seen it in the visions. We're going to all be telepathic. I've seen it. And when we become telepathic, we're going to remember everything they did to us too. We're going to remember all the bullshit they did. We're going to remember we're going to know all of their locations, where they hiding and safeguarding the children. Not safeguarding, but holding the children ransom for adrenochrome and their life force. We're gonna know all of that. We're gonna be like, oh, and not only that, past lives and all of that gonna flood to us all simultaneously, like with the blink of a finger. With the snap of a finger. Pardon me, blink of an eye, snap of a finger. They're serious, right? And it's gonna be a situation where a lot of you think that I'm just talking, and that this is not true. All right, but this is facts. This is facts. Your melanin is ancient. All right, your soul is ancient. All right, you're not the body. All right, it's just it's certain illusions that have been put in place through planetary alignment and technological structures from these fallen angelics to pretty much distort your perception of reality. All right, and then they consistently use 5G, 6G, 7G, all of these different things to pretty much further distort your perception of reality and to disconnect you with nature. This is the purpose of these things, to further disconnect you from nature, cosmic family. All right. Continue to do things like fast. You know what I'm saying? Fast, grounding. You know, it's all essential for cosmic light code integration. There's a brother on YouTube that does 7 different tones that help you vibrate each chakra, starting from the crown down to the root. I have to remember his name. He does live meditation. That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. That's amazing. Holistic remedies. Once I got power surges, I knew you was an ally. Ashe. Ashe. Yes, indeed. Been dreaming of touching myself, how to fly. Never have been crazy. Been dreaming of teaching myself how to fly. Never have been crazy. But see, and the thing is, because you actually do know how to fly in those realities, the thing is, we've been distorted to told we can't do these things. We've been told that mentalism is the primary component to actually breaking the shell of thinking that we can't execute these powers. All right. It's believing that you can't do it. Being told, this is fiction, this is something that can't be accomplished, right? Once you know that these things can be obtained, and you have the ability through your melanin to actually defy what they call the law of physics, and that you're an electromagnetic being, and that you can actually tap into the full electromagnetic spectrum through access of the higher circuits of your brain, then you begin to, it's phenomenal. I don't want to get into too much of the powers. Is Diddy a distraction? Everything is a distraction. If you ask him, is he a distraction? It's because you know he's a distraction. But at the same, of course he's a distraction. When I was young, I felt like I was a different person from the person I seen in the mirror. Very interesting. A lot of people actually say that. Here's a very interesting fun fact. Light travels at 1.23, light travels 370 million meters. It takes 1.23 seconds to travel 370 million meters, right? So this means that when you see something, you're actually seeing it 1.23 seconds late. All right, channel that. Think about that again. All right. Again, light travels 370 million meters. It takes 1.23 seconds. So when we see something, because of the light spectrum, we're actually seeing it late. All right, we're seeing it later than when it actually occurred. What that basically means is that we're existing in a holographic light code spectrum. All right, and that this whole thing is pretty much ones and zeros. All right, so but we are real still, because we are ether in essence. We are energy. All right, but as far as the holographic light code spectrum that we've been inserted in, it's pretty much just light. Everything is vibrating. Even things that appear solid are actually moving very fast. All right, nothing's resting. Everything vibrates. All right, seriously. All right, and if you learn how to control your density, you would literally be able to kind of go reach through stuff, walk through walls. It's just all about learning the mechanics of certain things. And once we ascertain more access to the light photon spectrum, all right, through our melanocytes absorbing and converting this light through the process called melanogenesis, at that point in time, you're going to have the ability of then doing those things, and they know that. This is why they do so many things to desecrate the God body. All right, to pull you down. All right, and this is why I tell you I'm telling you, when I tell you to take things like tyrosine. All right, I got the tyrosine capsules on Holistic Remedies. All right, this is a building block to melanin. Even if you have a lot of eumelanin, you're going to notice that when you use the tyrosine too, it's going to increase your cognitive function. All right, because it's associated with dopamine. All right, which means that now it's increasing your cognition, your awareness. Your neurons are firing faster. All right. Again, always remember that the attack is on the melanin production, and tyrosine is the building block of melanin. This is things they don't want you to know, gods and goddesses. They don't want you to know stuff like that. All right. So foods rich in tyrosine. Look it up if you don't understand. So Google the word tyrosine, Tyrosine. All right. Look it up, research it, go down a rabbit hole and study it. All right. It's the building block of melanin. All right. And it's responsible for the colors, everything. I mean, I believe that, I know actually with consumption of tyrosine, if we consume and have a high consumption of tyrosine, eventually we can even get gray hair follicles and stuff to eventually start to convert and turn back because the eumelanin would begin to accumulate. All right, because tyrosine is the building block of melanin. All right, so these are things that you can incorporate to basically integrate cosmic light better when the solar flares begin to ramp up. These are things that they don't want you to know, that people don't know. Again, chlorophyll. I talk about it in all my videos. I'm going to continue to talk about chlorophyll. It's a must. In ancient times, we had a magnesium molecule instead of an iron molecule. Our blood was, our skin was green and blue. All right, like this is why Osiris is depicted green in the hieroglyphics. It's primarily because we were green. When they refer to the green men, the little green men, they were talking about the Twa because they're some of the most ancient beings, but they were green. The original leprechauns. Real talk. All right. And this is why some babies are born with a Mongolian birthmark. And they have that or green color almost near the bottom of the bum, if you notice, because that's where the most Kundalini is typically. All right. And where the most magnesium is stored. All right. Real talk. All right. So we have to get back to that. We have to get back to consuming chlorophyll. Again, I told you okra water, key limes. All right. Chlorophyll is the component responsible for giving plants its green pigment. All right. Green apples, avocados, spinach, kale. All of these things are composed of chlorophyll. All right. So you should be consuming a lot of that right now. As many green vegetables, peas, greens as you can. All right. Also start incorporating green crystals, malachite, aka chrysocolla, which has been proven to actually increase the red blood cell count, and some even alleged that it's good for combating things like diabetes. All right, and lowering blood sugar levels, like just the crystal malachite. All right, and some even allege that it eases cramps during a woman's menses. That they can actually utilize malachite and do deep dragon breathing techniques with the malachite here, and it would begin to alleviate cramps during the woman's menses. All right, so there's a lot of different healing modalities, and we've been stripped away from nature. And Big Pharma's objective primarily was to pretty much ensure that we didn't have a lot of the information. And again, Big Pharma's whole objective pretty much is to attack the melanin. That's their primary objective, is to attack the melanin. Peace, God. Peace to the gods and goddesses joining. Do certain zodiac signs have more bodies than others? What do you mean? Like, you mean as far as sexual bodies, or you mean as far as somebody going out catching a body, killing somebody? I don't know. I don't understand the significance of the question, but yes, I would say yes. I would say yeah. Yeah. Just like certain zodiacs have different things with anything on the planet. Some zodiacs probably eat more than others. I mean, yes, everything has. That's a yes. Peace. I realized I had powers when I survived a 40 feet free tree fall off a cliff. That's amazing. What it sounds like is you tensed up. Your body tensed up to the point where it protected itself. Again, we have an auric field too that stretches out and protects us. Your auric field could actually protect you from different things. Your auric field could protect you from different things. You can even walk in a room and your auric field could protect you from, just psychic attacks, all kind of things. You know what I'm saying? But yes, we are very powerful. We are very powerful. All right, and again, we are X-Men with the inhibitor collars on, with around all the fluoride, around all the toxic metals and things of that nature. We're a bunch of X-Men with inhibitor collars on our neck. But the biggest inhibitor collar is your mind. All right, knowing that you are very powerful, knowing that you have the ability to actually be a lot more than what they told you. All right, but again, one of the biggest things that a lot of the gods and goddesses have to do is refrain from big pharma, utilizing certain pharmaceuticals. All right. I was reading a book that Dr. Layla Africa had. It's called What Makes Black People Black. And it was basically delving into melanin and the science of melanin and how melanin actually can heal you from anything. All right. Once you have healthy functioning melanin, you actually are healthy. You can heal from almost anything, any ailment. Pretty much melanin Unhealthy melanin is the result to sickness and any other illness that you receive, in essence, really, right? So that's the crazy part. And a lot of people don't know that. The big pharma knows that. They know there is certain requirements and certain things that melanin requires in order to be in homeostasis. All right. Follow me. All right. So a lot of the deceptive machinations are purposely designed to attack the melanin. I'm talking about from the food you eat. All right. The genetically modified organisms. All right. The frequencies. A lot of this is why I wear copper. This is why I wear crystals, all right? And certain crystals to protect your auric field and actually give you the ability to actually shield out the ELF waves, which are extremely low frequencies. Dr. Delbert Blair was ahead of his time. He'd been talking about this. He was talking about this in the 90s, right? The stickers from the back of the phone, quantum stickers that I have on Holistic Remedies to protect your cell phone. Delbert Blair had those years and years ago. You know what I'm saying? When I used to see his lectures, I would be like, oh, what is that? What is he talking about? Years and years later, they came up with him. Right? But see, this is the thing. The government and a lot of those elites actually been utilizing these different things to protect themselves. They'll protect themselves and their kids, but then they'll put your house right near big-ass 5G towers and stuff like that. They don't care about you because they know it's a direct attack on the melanin. They know these things. All right? Because, listen, all right, when we talk about cell phones, oh, man, when you utilize a cell phone and utilize any technological device, right? If you text somebody, right? You don't see that message leave out and go nowhere, but it's traveling somewhere. And guess what? A lot of those frequencies are traveling right through us. They're traveling right through our body. These currencies, these frequencies, they're affecting us. They're traveling right through our body. We don't see it, but they are. You take a certain amount of LSD or shrooms, you will see, I stepped outside the house one time and seen Wi-Fi signals everywhere. I'm like, whoa, Wi-Fi signals everywhere. There was blue Wi-Fi signals, like an AT&T commercial. Dead serious. I walked outside like, I see the Wi-Fi signals everywhere. All right. Now, these signals are always passing through you. All right. And some of the signals have the ability to actually implement certain mind control machinations where they can actually, you get a deceptive thought out of nowhere. You ever, and not only, it also can do things like a song pop in your head out of nowhere. You ever have a song that you don't even hear pop in your mind? This is because radio waves are always passing through us. So sometimes a radio wave can literally pass through your neurophysiology and you will hear a song and start singing a song. This is facts. This is facts. Copper protects you from that. Black obsidian. Peace to the goddess Randeezy 420. I got this beautiful obsidian piece from her. All right? And she's sending me a fire scarab piece with crystal protection and copper. All right? This is what I talk about. Copper is a phenomenal for RF shielding, which is radio frequency shielding. It protects you from those things. All right. This is why we wear the copper. It's not just to look cool, not just to look spiritual. It's really because on a quantum level, it's protecting you from malevolent deceptive frequencies that are designed to actually throw different synapses in your neurophysiology. They can activate certain things. Well, see, they don't like this information coming out. They don't like. This is why they shut down 3 of my TikToks. All right, 3 of them. Every time my TikToks are doing good, they shut it down. They be like, oh, I believe they have facial recognition for my ass. I'm dead serious. I believe like, oh, that's him again. We can't have him coming out with no content. We got to shadow ban this man. And they know who we are. They know who we are. They know a lot of us. They know a lot of us through primordial lineage and bloodlines. I'm talking about some of these are fallen angelics. They're like, okay, he's connected from this lineage. He's from that bloodline. No, we can't have him coming out talking. Real talk. Believe it. You're way more powerful than you think you are. Ashe, much respect and gratitude for the jewelry. Shout out, family. Ashe, yes, indeed, goddess. You got fire jewelry. Support the goddess Randeezy 420. She got fire jewelry. I made a copper crystal chain with all the words and exact heat. And I got this fire amethyst piece from Delano Williams. This piece right here, from Delano Williams. He a monster too. And support that god. He got some fire crystals. I got like 4 new pieces from the god Delano Williams. All right. Ra Aura, I always stumble over his Instagram when I try to repeat it. But the guy name is Delano Williams. I'm sure if you look him up, his Instagram tag will pop up right with it too. But he got some fire jewelry. They know who we are as soon as we are born. Ashe, yes, they do. They do. You know what I'm saying? They try to stagnate the message. But here's the thing. A lot of us feel like because we're viewed the timeline from the wrong angle, we feel like this has been a long time coming, but really is not. It's been a blink of an eye. I had enough psychedelic experiences and astral projection experiences to feel like this whole shit is a blur to me. Dead serious. I know, because I seen us win. I talked to the Cosmic Ethereum mother. I seen, she said she was pissed. I told you. All the black obsidian eyes sitting straight, 90-degree angle. I'll never forget it. She said they will pay for what they have done to my babies. And I'll tell that story a million times. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real. And I'll always remember that. She said they will pay. And then I just have to realize when she said they will pay for what they have done to my babies, she's not just talking about as far as lineage and bloodline. She's talking about actual babies that they harvesting for adrenochrome. All right? Real talk. Extracting adrenochrome from the 33rd vertebrae or the left eye. She's also referring to that, the pain of those babies. All right? And this is why the cosmic activation, when it does happen, I seen us going in subterranean bases, destroying their facilities. Destroying their establishments. I seen it. All right? You know what I mean? Peace, God. Peace, God. Ra-Or, I just shouted you out for the amethyst piece, Cosmic Family. All right? The God Delano Williams, fire jury. I just got this fire amethyst piece from the God that just came in today. All right? My Aura app just went off saying I may be able to see the northern lights tonight. Yes, because there is a 600-mile filament that erupted on the sun. The sun's been rapidly amping up, Cosmic Family. I was telling them, God, I was telling them, Delano, I said, I hope y'all ready. All right. Now, this whole time, what's been going on, Cosmic Family, is that they've been utilizing deceptive technology to pretty much sever our connection from source. All right. So all the time, whether you know it or not, there's a hum that's emanating like a resonance that's playing in the background. We can't hear it, but they are using this resonance. All right. This is a distortion mechanism that's actually emanated from Saturn. All right. This distortion mechanism is actually kept in the Vatican. All right. And it emanate a pulse that the 13 families can only hear. The 13 bloodlines can only hear it. They can give instruction. They can actually tell you, oh, go do this, go do that. They can actually communicate through this Saturn hum, all right, which is Chronos. This is the personification of the timekeeper, right? We talking about that keeps us in this fixed position, light code spectrum, right? This simulation that we in, right? So what's going to happen with all these solar flares that I said all that? What's going to happen is that deceptive technology is going to begin to malfunction once the electromagnetic grid system shut down. All right. And when it's shut down, that hum, that technology they've been using this whole time to distort our perception, to corrupt our neurophysiology from seeing what's really going on. All right. We're going to be like, oh, we're going to see it. And I mean, I'm talking about telepathy going to start kicking in. You're probably getting ascension symptoms now. Some of you are having crazy. I have multiple astral projection experiences this rising. All right. Multiple astral projection experiences. All right. Now, the gods and goddesses that got their blue lotus, as they tap in, all right, you're going to start to activate the prefrontal cortex of the brain eventually. All right. Now, when I consume the blue lotus, for all of you that actually have the blue lotus, I recommend making a tea. All right. And also roll a little bit too. And hold it for 19 seconds. Give me 19 seconds. Exhale it. You're gonna enter that euphoric state where the apomorphine now stimulates and activates that pineal gland. I'm telling you from facts right now. Now, when you lay down, what I want you to do is I want you to focus on your breathing. I want you to do what's called the dragon breath technique. All right, you're gonna sit there. You're gonna hold it 9 seconds. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Again. What that's doing is that's ramping up the solar plexus chakra now. That's building up Kundalini energy. You're building up that Kundalini. All right. That ball starts to build up. Right. Now, what you're doing the whole time, you're laying completely still. All right. This is what you got to do now. Listen, the solar energy is intense on a planet. All right. I'm telling you how to astral project, access to Akashic records, how to potentially have a lucid dream. These are all ways that you can, once you begin to do these things, you begin to access more of the higher version of yourself. What they call a monad, the higher mind, right? So when you're laying down, the most important thing, gods and goddesses, to lay completely still. The objective is for your mind to fall asleep. I mean, your body to fall asleep, part yourself, your body to fall asleep, while your mind to be completely awoke or awake. So your body should be asleep and your mind should be awake. And then once that happens, you're going to eventually start to feel yourself separate. All right. Different exercises you can do. You can imagine lifting your arms. You can imagine lifting your legs. You're going to feel your astral arms and legs literally start moving. Dead ass. Once that happens, at that point, you can do another thing. You can imagine a rope technique where you imagine pulling yourself up and out of your body. You can do the rolling technique where you imagine rolling up and out of your body. And I promise you, it's going to be phenomenal. I was flying all over the place this rising. I'm flying all over the place. I'm dead serious. All right. And it's amazing. I lift up, and oftentimes when I do it, right, when I shift out of my body, I notice that the multiverse is real, because sometimes I'm in another house. It's a whole nother house, almost like in another dimension. It's weird. Almost hard to explain in third dimensional language, to keep it a million. All right, but it's another house, another reality. Now, I explained to you that you have 7 subtle bodies. There's 7 different etheric planes. Seven of them. All right, so currently we're in a physical plane, which is the material plane. All right, you have the ethereal plane. All right, which is the plane of force. All right, then you have the astral plane, which is the emotional plane. The astral plane is the emotional plane. You have the mental plane, the casual plane, the spiritual plane, and then finally the soul plane. All right, these are the 7 subtle. These are the 7 etheric planes, and in conjunction with those 7 etheric planes, you have 7 subtle bodies to correlate with each of those planes. So whenever you're in one of those planes, you're in a different body. While you're in this physical plane, you're in your material body. When you're in a plane of force, you're in your ethereal body. When you're in an emotional plane, you're in your astral body. You get me? And it just keep going and going. You have multiple bodies, and it consistently goes infinitely. All right. Now here's the thing: you have physicality in most of all of these realms. The difference is when you're outside of the third density, now you can fly in those other realms. This is why sometimes in a dream you still have a body, but now you just can fly in that body, right? You're no longer in third dimension. But see, here's the thing. Here's the kicker. As light codes begin to come in, eventually the dimensions are merging with this reality, where you can do all the shit like fly and all of that in this reality. See, the thing is, it sounds like, well, this nigga said he could fly. You could fly. Yes, it's possible. It's not. Our ancestors had these abilities of flight. They had these abilities. The thing is, we've been just dumbed down. We've been dumbed down and suppressed through chemtrails, genetically modified organisms, mind forgetful agents. There's a lot of different things that again, averse attacks on the melanin, on your neurophysiology purposely. All right. There's a lot of deceptive frequencies that are purposely emanated to distort your harmonic connection with source. All right. Because they know that you might mess around and build a Stargate or again, we had ships that literally connected with our consciousness. They were inertia canceling. They could bend sharp corners without crashing. These are things that we just have to get back to accessing that technology. We were geneticists and scientists, cosmic family. All right, we have now been dumbed down so much that now it's to the point where we now are finding ourselves. But again, we have been dumbed down because of the invasion. Once the invasion came in and the resets took place, all of the resets at that point in time, they begin to take more of our ancient knowledge. But again, as we begin to receive more light codes and go from the Kali Yuga to the Golden Age, and we're propelling out of the previous Piscean age, we begin to unlock a lot more information now. More and more all over the planet, people are waking up. All over the planet, people are waking the hell up. People leaving their churches. People quitting their jobs that they worked for 15 years. They realizing that this whole time they've been in an insect mine. All right. Now, I talked about the 7 circuits of the brain. Shout out to Professor Jewel Pookrum. All right. The goddess Jewel Pookrum. And she, I'm gonna always talk about this because it's something that the collective need to hear. I'm going to even make mention of it at the Quantum Fest. All right. But when we talk about the 7 circuits of the brain, the first circuit of the brain, obviously, is the brainstem. It's the brainstem. It's the reptilian brain, the R complex. Right. Then the second circuit, you get into the insect portion of the brain. Now, when we talk about the reptilian, to back up a bit, that deals with fight or flight, your primal urges, right? Sex, fight or flight, basic food, basic instincts of survival. You know what I mean? When you get hungry, those are your brainstem, right? Now, the thing is, it's not a bad thing when we talk about the brainstem because it keeps you safe. Fight or flight keeps you safe. So the brainstem is associated with safety. You walk in the room, you be like, you just don't feel good. I'm about to leave or something. That's your brainstem. That's your reptilian urge kicking in, that fight or flight. So one thing I don't want the gods and goddesses to do is to demonize a part of the brain circuitry because everything is there for a reason. So when I say reptilian brain, it's not to be demonized, it's to be understood. Second portion of the brain is the insect portion of the brain, all right? That deals with the hive mind, society, religion, following the masses, all right? Your job, the church. All right. This is the concept of following the hive mind, the insect. All right. Typically, it's attributed to ants and bees. All right. That follows a hierarchy, the system where they kind of follow in the group. right? This is the concept of the insect mind, all right? And a lot of the deletes, they want to keep us between the first and second. They want to keep us in fight or flight in the insect mind, being controlled, all right? When we get to the third circuit of the brain, that deals with intellect, all right? And when I say intellect, I mean logic, but I have to see it to believe it type logic. Like, oh, I ain't gonna believe that unless I see it. You know what I'm saying? No, you gotta show me, man. You gotta show me. That's the logic brain. Is there something wrong with that? Not necessarily. But they don't have the mindset of being intuitive. They're just solely on logic, which means they're limited to the Akashic records, right? So now when we get into the fourth circuit of the brain, this pretty much deals with the heart, the essence of the heart, all right? Now remember, you have neural clusters in your heart. You have neurological clusters in your stomach. And you also have, obviously, neurological clusters in your brain. But you have 3 brains, a total of 3 brains, all right? Now, your heart also is a brain, all right? Which means that now you feel from emotion. You kind of pretty much have the ability of tapping into that aspect where you're not just all logic. You're more now, and some refer to it as the mammalian aspect of the brain, all right? So now we talk about the heart, all right? Fifth circuit would be dealing with intuition. Now you're actually, the concept of intuition, what does that mean? Intuition is the ability to see the past, present, and future simultaneously. You can see all timelines harmoniously synced and intertwined. That's the concept of intuition, all right? So some people are under the under the thoughts that intuition is maybe true. No, intuition is fact because it's something you can intuitively see and know. All right. So you have access to all timelines through intuition. All right. This is when now you begin to see and access a higher, different dimensional planes of consciousness. A lot of us are in that fifth circuit of the brain that I'm making a mention of now. We get into sixth circuit now. We're talking about you're activating the temporal lobes. All right. Which now deals with extrasensory perception. All right. This is ESP pretty much. Now you're heightened. Or you can hear everything. You can see a lot more. You know what I mean? You are also tapped into that intuitive side, right? And then finally, the seventh circuit deals with full control of the frontal lobe. All right. Now at that point, you have full access to the electromagnetic spectrum. All right. We're talking Lucy. We're talking flight. We're talking powers and abilities. But this is all attributed to us accessing these different circuits of the brain. All right. Now, again, they have been maliciously keeping us out of certain circuitry based on harmonic frequencies. All right. So are y'all ready? Are y'all ready for what's going to happen when all of the deceptive technology is no longer playing in the background? Are y'all ready for that? All right. And I'm going to make mention of that. I'm going to delve into that again and explain that again at the Quantum Fest, but just a little bit more detail. But, when we get into the different circuits of the brain, this whole time they've been dumbing us down. They've been pulling us away from accessing these different circuits. All right, through malevolent, deceptive technology, draconian technology, I may add. Right? Y'all ready, right? So again, about being ready, this is all about really getting out and stepping into your higher self. Stepping into your higher self. Now let nobody pull you away from your true purpose in regards to your ascension. Let me take a sip of water. Now this okra water is great for digestion, okay? It's phenomenal for digestion, all right? If you're a person that have stomach issues or gastroenteritis, anything like that, anything in reference to stomach, you want to start consuming okra water, all right? Okra water is also going to be clear. It's going to clear your skin up. It's going to make you hydrated. It's going to increase your neurophysiology. It's going to make you feel a lot more vibrant, all right? Yes, I'm ready, God. So what's going to happen again I'm talking about when a grid shut down, it may be all black. I'm talking about the 1859 Keratin event, Cosmic Family, which was the biggest geomagnetic storm that the world has seen. All right. Research the 1859 Keratin event when you get time. Google it. 1859 Keratin event. You're going to see that it was a massive blackout that knocked out all the power. All right. Scientists believe that this event could reoccur again. That this 1859 Keratin event could occur again. Pay attention to the solar flares, gods and goddesses. We've been getting bombed with solar flares. Today, they made mention of a 600-mile filament that erupted on the sun. All right? They said it's 75 times bigger than the Earth. Y'all heard me? That's a crazy, that's crazy. All right? So, don't be surprised if you see the Aurora Borealis. Don't be surprised if you see the northern lights all over. You're going to see the northern lights all over, cosmic family. All right, now, what happens when your melanocytes get in contact with cosmic light? If you've been watching my videos, what happens when the melanocytes are in contact with light? They absorb it, right? Your melanin absorbs all forms of light. Radio waves, microwaves, ultraviolet rays, any form of light, your melanin is absorbing, all right? This is primarily why they put us in certain areas. Why they put, again, when we talk about the hood, right? Your melanin absorbs all types of colors. Right? Absorbs all types of colors. You benefit from seeing colors. Just alone. You seeing colors, walking in the room with a bunch of colors, your melanin is happy. It's elated. They said, we can't have that. We can't have their neurotransmitters doing this, firing rapidly, and them expanding. You know what I'm saying? We got to put them in the hood. We got to put them in the low color areas. We got to put them around a bunch of concrete, broken glass. So they see things like that, deplorable conditions. Because the melanin then responds off that, which then puts you in what? We talked about the 7 circuits of the brain, so then where that put you? In the reptilian, fight or flight, right? Your primal urges, sex, food. You don't really care about ascension too much. You're just worried about how you can make it. This is all maliciously done, cosmic family. All right? And then they put you to where, and then they did it. They studied us, right? This is the concept of the projects. They studied us. They put crack, little bit of heroin here, little bit of beer here, liquor store at that corner, liquor store at that corner, church at this corner, church at every corner. They studied it. They studied everything. And then they purposely put guns in certain areas too. There's video footage literally of people dropping crates of guns off in Chicago. That's serious. Crates of guns. They purposely put the firearms in these places. They purposely put certain chemicals and neurotoxins in the air to amplify anger. Did you know? When tyrosine levels are uneven in the brain, it creates rage. That one of the reasons why the European hated the Nubian so much is because the tyrosine levels were uneven in the brain, which created the rage. All right, this is the concept of Yakub's orchestration, where he understood the science of the brain. All right, so this is why when you talk about tyrosine levels, it also creates balance in the brain. When the serotonin levels are uneven in the brain, it creates male-on-male attraction, homosexuality in essence. All right, just to be straight blunt. All right. So when we talk about serotonin levels being unequal in the brain, right? And this is stuff they don't want you to know. Why I'm shadow banned, right? This is done through different endocrine disruptors like atrazine, glyphosate, certain things like that has the ability to where it affects the serotonin levels. Now you get male-on-male attraction. This is for population control. They were doing things like that to stagnate the populace so people aren't producing. And you know what I'm saying? This is all maliciously orchestrated, cosmic family. All right. Now, as we begin to learn their machinations, we begin to see how they can put you in certain circuits of the brain, how they can manipulate things through how they've been doing it through force. We really haven't had a fair shot. When I talk about the inhibitor collars, we X-Men with a bunch of inhibitor collars, or Superman around a bunch of kryptonite. The whole time they've been affecting us, maliciously attacking our frequency. Right. All right. So now when we talk about integration of cosmic light, this is pretty much wholeheartedly about us stepping into that true version of ourselves for who we truly are. You know what I'm saying? When we really get to the point where we know what the hell going on. All right? When we fully know. You know what I'm saying? And now when we talk about when we get into different chemicals of the brain and how they can affect, again, the tyrosine levels, the serotonin levels in the brain, they know chemically how to affect the brain through different neural responses, food, all that, family. They've been studying us. So now when you get different holistic practitioners, people like Dr. Sebi, for example, they'll unalive them. They stalking Yaki. They cut all my TikToks down. Every TikTok I had, they got big, they cut it down. All right? And they shadow ban me on every algorithm. My TikTok was doing phenomenal. They shut that joint down. I had 3 of them joints. They shut them all down. The last TikTok, I didn't even have a warning, family. Once they seen me, they said, man, they just banned that joint. I said, yo, they on to me. I said, they on to me. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm divinely guided and protected. You feel me? I push and do what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm divinely guided and protected, and the ancestors want my message to come out. As long as I follow their tutelage and take their guidance, every once in a while, I'll tap into the mycelium network to see what the next mission is. You know what I'm saying? Or go into a deep meditation. You know what I'm saying? But I'm very heavy into plant medicines too. All right. For any one of you that haven't had a magic mushroom experience or psychedelic experience, you're missing out. You need to I'm not talking about just a little bit to be scared either. I'm talking about really delving in. If you're going to do them 5 grams or better. All right. Go hard or go home. And really delve into the mycelium network to see what's on the other side if you haven't. All right? And I'm not saying you have to do these things, but it's something that will rekindle your connection to your primordial essence. I've seen so many things in the mycelium network. I'm going to talk about that at the Quantum Fest too. When we talk about integration of the cosmic light body, it's a lot of people scared to dabble into plant medicines. Our ancestors had them all in the hieroglyphics. They wasn't there for a reason. It's because these entheogens are ancient. All right? They survived all the resets. They have all the ancient codes in them. You hear me? Are y'all listening? I'm talking about plant medicines, iboga, magic mushrooms. They have all the codes in them. They survived all the resets. This is why you should tap into the mycelium network. Why you need to actually get to the point where you're removing your fear. Delving into a deep dose. Break the fear. The fear is tethered to the root chakra. It's tethered to the eye complex. So anytime you're in fear, you're deep in the reptilian brain, cosmic family. Come on. I get frustrated because a lot of the gods and goddesses are really scared to still astral project. They're scared to have a magic mushroom experience. They're scared to have an ayahuasca experience. They're scared to have an LSD experience. They've been told that these things are nefarious. They've been told that these things are bad. And they're scared of them. They've been scared. They've been led away from them for a reason. Because your melanin is so ancient that once you do like tap into the mycelium network, you're gonna see yourself in you're gonna immediately see yourself in ancient Kemetic attire. See yourself on a ship. You might see yourself near a Stargate. They don't want you seeing that stuff. They're like, oh no, we can't. They're going to remember who they are. Everything in regards to the public school system was orchestrated to make you think you derived from slavery. To make you believe that you were initially a slave. All right? That you didn't derive from the cosmos. That you're not ancient. All right? When you're ancient. When you're ancient as hell. This is why I talk about utilization of things like Harataki. When I start using Harataki in conjunction with things like Blue Lotus and meditating and stuff like that, I start seeing auras around people. I start feeling weird in the workforce, working around people, being around people, hearing them talk. I can see the malevolent energy on people. Even the people that smile in your face, I can see their true aura. I'm serious. Once your pineal gland is fully decalcified, you remove all them calcium deposits, you begin to meditate, you can see people's auric field. You can really sense people's energy. All right? You could be within close proximity to somebody and be like, you know what? I'm going to go home, fam. I'm going to just go home. I've been places. I done went to places, fam, and be like, yeah, you know what, man? I'm just going to bounce, man. You know what? I think I'm tired. Because I don't feel the energy. This is what your auric field protects you from. Now, never doubt that energy. Never doubt that energy when you know it's time to leave or your higher mind tell you something. Never doubt it. If you doubt it, you're not listening to the voice of God. That's called intuitive sight. Anytime you doubt that, you're not listening to the voice of God, cosmic family. So if you walk in a park, I don't give a damn if you just walked in there. If you walk in there and something tell you to leave, leave. Your ancestors nudging you, your higher self nudging you, all of that. I don't care where it's at. You could be in the middle of Walmart. You got to go shopping, grocery shopping. If something tell you leave, or you know what, this don't feel right, follow your higher instinct. This is intuitive sight because we're now becoming more telepathic. You're now stepping into your telepathy. I'm dead serious right now. I'm not joking. Now, listen, I'm in Buffalo currently, right? And I was down here when the mass shooting happened, right? At Tops that time. Crazy, right? I was here. Something told me not to go there that day. I was just about to go in there too. Something told me not to go in there. Dead ass. The day before I went shopping. And I was about to run in there again for something, but something told me, nah, you know what, just don't even go. Just you don't need nothing. Just stay here. It was right down the street from me. That happened on Jefferson. I was literally at the Martin Luther King Park over there with my daughter and her cousin, stretching and working out, some grounding and stuff like that, right? And I was about to go there, but something told me, nah, you don't need nothing. Sure enough, that guy went in there and took out all those people, man. My condolences to all the families. And when they did that, it was because that black man created the car that could run on water. Biden came down and all that. The deletes came down. That was something that they did. They plotted on that man. Big oil plotted on that man. Black man had a car that could run on water. They took the other one out too. Other individuals that they took out in Buffalo, that was collateral damage, cosmic family. Nine Ether Man created a car that could run on water. They couldn't have had that. They was like, oh man, Big Oil took them out. They came to little old Buffalo to do it. That's crazy, right? But they see us. They see us no matter how big or small your city is, they see you. right? And I was like, I was messed up for those people, man. One of them was a family member of mine as well. She was into esoteric information and stuff like that. You know, she used to work for the she used to work for the Challenger back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you know, but that was an attack from Big Oil. You know what I'm saying? And their objective is to keep us a level 0 civilization. Anytime we start expanding to the point where we don't need them, we don't need their fossil fuels, they want to keep us using fossil fuel, keep polluting Tiamat, and keep desecrating the planet. It's at the point where the planet tired of it, though, family. The planet tired. And what it's going to do in order to cleanse itself is activate the white blood cells on the planet, which is us. Which is us. We are the white blood cells. We are the guardians on the planet that's actually sent to restore cosmic balance. I've seen all the visions, I'm telling you. I'm just trying to fill y'all in on what's going to happen. What I've seen already. All right? We're extremely powerful. We're extremely powerful. This is not no joke. You know what I'm saying? This is not no joke. This is not just to say it. We're extremely powerful. You feel me? It's a clue to who are magical. Let me see the comments. Sometimes I be channeling. Always had that, didn't understand it years ago. Haven't last 5 years. Let me see. Big Ashe, Big Ashe. You can feel it soon as you enter the room. Yes, you can. The Harataki ain't for the faint of heart. Yes, indeed. The Harataki fire. The Harataki will have you in those dream realms, cosmic family. It really will. I moved from Philly to New York. I'm homeless. Left my old life. 414. Listen to this divine messenger. Get watched 24/7 if you know about the New York. Very sorry to hear that, cosmic family. You know what I'm saying? You're going to manifest the life you desire, though, cosmic family. You're on the right path. And you're going to manifest that timeline where everything is thriving. Fear equals false evidence appearing real. Yes, indeed, God. How to get the mycelium? Hit me up on Calvin Strange Crippen. I'll connect you to the plant medicine goddess that I actually rock with. I keep having dreams of me flying over people. Those not dreams. You're in alternate timelines flying. All right? You have other bodies in other realms. They can't stop you, gang. I don't even know how I came across your page. Laugh out loud. I've been following for over a year. Ashe. I'm thank you for tapping in, cosmic family, and tuning in. We are divinely protected. No need to fear. Yes and nah. That's facts. That's facts. That's facts. Told people 2020 meant 2020 vision and to stay woke. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We elevating, cosmic family. We elevating. This is the time where the gods and goddesses fully become aware of who they are. All right. And tap into their information and fully get the cleansing themselves. Get the grounding, get the meditating, doing their ohms, and not only focusing on the physical aspects, but the spiritual aspect, the electrical essence of you. That's that soul that emanating you. That really trying to move that. I focus on my astral body even while I'm right here. I do astral exercises like I'm right here like this, but I'm imagining my astral arm lifting, my astral body projecting. Start practicing like that, even when you're outside, when you're grounding. You know, you're doing your breathing techniques, focus on your astral body shifting and moving and all that. Now, I told you, you begin to access more of your power by accessing the astral plane, all right? By doing things like lucid dreaming and stuff, you have access to more knowledge, all right? There's times I'm in a school, all right? Like almost like I explained this in several videos, like a Hogwarts, Harry Potter type school where we're practicing our powers. We're tapping into different abilities and stuff. Real talk. You know what I mean? In these different planes of consciousness, I'm seeing this. And it's like, it's amazing. And I know that I'm really there. I've seen us fight in the military on more than one occasion in these transcendental states of consciousness. And in one experience, I was with a few gods, and we was real close. We was cool. We was real cool in this experience. And it was like 3 or 4 of us or something, but we was messing up we was destabilizing certain facilities from these draconians, from these deletes. We was destabilizing they structures, right? But we could radio in, but it was like telepathic. But we also had to. It was weird. We could radio in telepathically to other gods and goddesses around different parts of the world, doing other things, destroying they state. Like we was all synchronized. And then when they was planning stuff, they was talking, like trying to plan stuff. Like, oh, we got to do this. We can hear everything they was planning. We could hear everything they was planning. And we could see everything too. We was super telepathic. And we all had different gifts. But as we was learning our gifts, we was all like using our different gifts to help the other person see different stuff. Like I remember in one instant, I'm there and I'm like creating shields I created gold. There was gold, all gold, dead serious. Gold shields. You know what I'm saying? Gold, almost like this. Gold shields, like almost like this bronze colored gold that formed around us, and it was like boom, boom, boom. They couldn't even pierce through, family. They couldn't even get through to us, and it was an amazing experience, family. And it was like we was effortlessly destroying their stuff. It was like we was laughing and having a good time while we was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Where do I buy Blue Lotus? Click the link in my bio. It's on Holistic Remedies. I got the Blue Lotus right there. And it's I also got the mugwort as well. Some of the gods and goddesses mix the Blue Lotus and mugwort. If you go on the Holistic Remedies, it's right and the link underneath my name. I'm going to recharge my phone. I love y'all. Let's rise. Ashe. Done. Yes. We tapping in, Cosmic Family. We tapping in. And when you do the Blue Lotus, just to explain how to utilize it, all right? You can make it in a tea, or you can smoke it, all right? It's smokable, or it can be brewed into a tea. You never boil the Blue Lotus directly on a fire, all right? You can boil your water first, but then what you want to do is you want to steep the Blue Lotus. You want to steep it. Divine Love, family, Ashe. You want to steep the Blue Lotus, all right? You can add honey, raw sugar. You don't want to use, never recommend utilizing any granulated sugar, all right? Sugar is pretty much shuts down the immune system and the ability to produce white blood cells within 45 minutes, literally. Goes into the bone marrow and then actually shuts down the body's ability to produce white blood cells, all right? Sugar is one of the worst things, and it also allows viruses to begin to settle in the body. All right, so I'll use organic honey. Now, the Blue Lotus is strong. It's a little tart as far as taste. So some people prefer smoking it over drinking it, all right? I do both, because when I drink it and smoke it, I get super relaxed. I get super relaxed. And then, to the point where the beauty of Blue Lotus is it creates activity in the prefrontal cortex of the brain, allowing you to have a successful outer body experience, all right? Some of the gods that hit me up actually was scared because they felt themselves lifting up and separating from their body. They can literally feel it. And then some of them was like, yo, I got scared and went back in. This time I'm going to just let it happen. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't expect it to happen that instantaneously. All right? If you're doing the right things, if you're fasting, if you got the right diet, it's because some people need to use the Blue Lotus a few more times than others. All right? Everybody has different results, contingent on how decalcified their pineal gland or how much activity they have in as far as their astral body. All right? Some people are like lucid dreamers by nature. All right? They lucid dream all the time. They have these experiences all the time. Some people have more calcium deposits on their pineal gland and need to use things like lion's mane, haritaki, utilize a little bit ginkgo biloba, or it probably may take you a bit of time for the apomorphine to build in the pineal gland to create that activity. All right? Some people are different. Some people feel it like this, where they go into, they take the Blue Lotus, they smoke it, they drink it, they immediately have dreams. They immediately have lucid dreams, or some people immediately have an astral projection experience. All right, I had some people tell me that they had some profound experiences. Like, yo, thank you, God. That Blue Lotus, the truth. I was able to astral project. I was able to do all of that, and their first time. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. And I showed the testimonies. I showed the proof and the evidence of people actually indicating that they had these experiences. Now, one of the reasons why the Blue Lotus is effective is if it's real Blue Lotus, is because it's rich in apomorphine. All right, and the Blue Lotus that I have has what's called the root attached to it still, the rhizomes. All right, and the rhizomes pretty much are the part of the plant that pretty much are attached to the water. So it's the full yellow part of the Blue Lotus as well as the purple part of the Blue Lotus when you get it. All right, which is the female part and the masculine part, divine feminine and masculine principle. All right, now Blue Lotus is associated with the sun, but the beauty of Blue Lotus is it's actually associated with both the masculine and the feminine, because it grows on water. It grows on water. We know water is associated with the feminine aspect. All right. So when you get the personification of water, and then it opens up for the sun. So it's solar and water at the same time. So now we're talking electromagnetism. We're talking electrical as well as magnetic energy. The Eta and Pingala, the amalgamation of the tetrahedron or Star of David when we talk about Blue Lotus. So this is why I recommend the Blue Lotus and like it a lot. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, if you switch to Blue Lotus out with cannabis, you will begin to have those astral projection experiences or lucid dreams that you haven't had. Or if you just fast from the cannabis. Let's say you cut off the cannabis like it's 10:47. Let's say you say, okay, I'm going to bed at around like 1. Let's say you say, okay, I'm not going to smoke no more. You may start having those crazy lucid dreams because you're the cannabis. But then if you say, all right, at nighttime, when I want to smoke, I'm going to switch it with Blue Lotus instead. I'm going to smoke Blue Lotus, and I'll just wake and bake the cannabis. You know what I'm saying? I'll wake and bake my cannabis, go outside, sun gaze with the cannabis and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But then at nighttime, when I really want to traverse those realms, I'll switch it out with the mugwort or the Blue Lotus. All right? And it adds discipline because some of us could be addicted to the cannabis. Now, here's another thing. They douse the cannabis with a mindful, forgetful agent typically called paraquat. All right? That makes it typically difficult to access the fourth circuit of the brain. All right? Which deals with the heart or emotional part. All right? So this is, and again, things like atrazine, glyphosate are also things that they douse. Once they legalize the cannabis, again, they begin to weaponize a lot of it. I was stabbed by my mother at 4 years old, and I watched whole horror like it was a movie. And ever since, I have lucid dreams. Very sorry to hear that, though. Very sorry to hear that. That's a lot to have to transmute, Cosmic Family. You know what I'm saying? As you begin to have certain experiences, though, the crazy part about it is you'll learn how to forgive her. You'll learn that she had to transmute certain energy, or may have been attacked, or went through certain tumultuous calamity that put her in that mindset and resonance. But then as you get to access your higher mind, you say, you know what? Even though that was crazy for my mom to do, I transmuted that trauma. Maybe in the past life or something, you know, I even agreed to her to do it, and I didn't even remember it in some contract or something, like some crazy mess like that. And then we just learn how to forgive and just move on. You know what I'm saying? Once you integrate that childhood, once you learn how to integrate that, it gets to a point where you just you be like, okay, I understand that these people also went through certain things that pretty much hindered them from that emotional connection with who they truly are. You know what I'm saying? You begin to learn that. The more you step into the embodiment of love, the love frequency, you realize that it's all just a game. It's all trauma. And you were sitting here to learn how to transmute that energy somehow and become an alchemist. I Am Healed. I wrote a book, Ashe. And that's things like that help you. Writing books, putting it on the paper. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us as men, we've been told things like crying is bad. We've been told things like be tough, toughen up. You got to be strong. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. And, you know, so as black man, even at my pop's funeral, I didn't cry. You know what I'm saying? Because all the thoughts that was put in my mind, this is who on my arm, my pops. All right? Now, even at the funeral, I didn't cry because we get told as black men, you can't cry about this, you can't cry about that, right? So, but once I had a magic mushroom experience one day, the tears start pouring out of me. And it was like the mycelium network was forcing this to happen, because when you cry, it releases dendrites. All right, dendrites, we got magnetites, dendrites, and calcites in the pineal gland. So when you cry, it's actually essential for the pineal gland to some degree, believe it or not, right? Because you break off those dendrites, those dendritic nerves. All right, so